walking west at one of my favorite rail fanning spots. We're going to be seeing a couple of dual modes, those 660, 664, and maybe the trains in between. Today's Thursday, April 23rd, 2026. Obviously back at St. James. 660 will be the first set of equipment we're going to see tonight, along with 664 is the second dual mode. That will be the last train we're going to see tonight. In between, we're going to see the two 5-car sets, one of them for 662 and the other one for train 661, which came in prior as 656. 3 minutes late out of Kings Park is train 660 tonight. Has DM30AC 512 leading, 518 on the rear with 8 cars. 660 has basically held the same equipment for the last almost 2 weeks with the same equipment. And tonight is no exception. Train 662, right behind it, has the DE30AC 418 on the point with 5013 on the rear and 5 cars. 661, C3 cab 5018 leading DE30AC 409. One engine with a K5 LLA. 418 has a K5 LA. 512 has a K5 LL. Of course, 518 on the rear of this equipment for 660 has a K5 LA, probably the best one they got. But it is not leading as it will tomorrow morning at 613. 664, which will be the last set of equipment we'll see, has the DM30AC 508 on the point with its newest K5 LLA. 506 is on the rear with 7 on this one. Pretty much these trains out of Port Jeff, unless there's significant delays, you'll see them about 3 to 5 minutes late at average. Sometimes they go through it on time. In this case, 660, 3 minutes late. We'll get to St. James normally at 6:23 as its advertised time. We'll get here at 6:26. So it's going to get here at its normal time, per se, of maybe a couple of minutes. All right, supposedly tonight, 660, one of my buddies is going to be running this train tonight. And he'll be at the helm of it. And the same equipment that we seen for 660, actually 2 weeks ago I was over in Huntington. I was supposed to see an M3 set which never went out, broke down. That very night, still got to see 660 over Park Avenue in Huntington. Then basically coming back here to St. James in time to see 664 right behind me, yet with the same lead engine, DM30AC 508 on point. Again, tonight, no exception. Same dual mode equipment on both trains. Different equipment, of course, on the push poles with both 5-car sets, as mentioned before. Matter of fact, 2 weeks ago, 423 was on the rear of 661. And 421 was leading 662. Talking about good memory. Yeah, I think I got it. Not often do I remember that equipment, but yep, that's what we saw. Tonight, 11:54, hasn't seen an M3 set in probably a few days. Tonight is running with an M3. 11:54 tonight, running with the 9807 on the west end, came in as 90:55. Then after that, $11.54, and $11.54 tonight got extended to Babylon due to signal issues. Not signal issues, switch issues at Penn Station, one of the yellow lockings. Tonight, 11:54 has been extended to Babylon. I'm sure we'll be heading back west. There's another train before supposedly later.
I found this on the web.
Supposedly later, going around Konkoma on another run. Usually that train will go out as train 1072, but not tonight. And even though my Apple Watch was giving me a result of something that I didn't push the results for, I just got the message now that they just left Smithtown at 6:23. So he's running a few minutes late. Should be getting here momentarily. Again, 6:23 is the arrival time here. Again, he's running about 3 minutes late out of Smithtown, so he'll get here within a couple of minutes. Time now 6:24. And he's finally coming into the station now for his station stop. course, I get the horn salute from one of my good buddies that I've known for a very long time before he started working for the Long Island Railroad. So, that did make me very happy. Let's just put it to you that way. Time now 6:35, 662 making its arrival. The 30AC 418 on the point. Wouldn't say it's the best of K5LA horns, but it's up there as far as sound quality. And C3 cab car 5013 on the rear, train 662, Hunters Point Avenue to Port Jefferson. Done now 645. We're going to be watching 661 around the curve. Heading west of Huntington to Port Jefferson. Revenue run starting in Stony Brook, running as a deadhead between Port Jeff and Stony Brook. He departs Stony Brook after 662. Gets here to St. James. It's got to be in Smithtown basically around 6:54. So the time he gets here to St. James is 649. The pass train 657 before the major switches in trains. 657 used to depart here at 654. Now he has to get to Smithtown at 654 to meet up with 664. C3 cab car 5018 is the leader. DE30AC 409 is on the rear. And this equipment came in as train 656 from Long Island City prior. Time now 6:47. And he is right on time as he's just rounded the curve at Mills Pond Road. Has got one of the pretty good sounding K5 LLAs. Before this K5 LLA was put in, this one had one of the best sounding K5 LAs. Apparently, along the Montauk branch, a tree struck the horn, knocking it off, causing the horns to change on this to its current K5 LLA configuration. As retired Ralph Van Horn guy says, this is one of the most scenic areas Port Jeff Branch has to offer. And at this location, it is no exception. The good old K5 LLA horn of the M30AC 508. Time is 7 o'clock. He's making it up the hill now. We'll be heading Northern Boulevard momentarily. And be coming into the station at St. James. 508, the newest K5 LLA. Probably the best sounding K5 LLA. If not, the best one behind the E30AC 423, the former DM30AC 507, which also had a K5 LA horn before it turned it to 423. And 506 on the rear for train 664, Penn Station to Port Jeff. And that will be my evening.